Hey, this is Pastor Pete from Northwest Church, and this is Things My Father Taught Me. Actually, today I want to tell you about something my mother used to say to me all the time. When I was a child, and if something went well for me, my mother used to always say, if you fell in a river, you would come up with salmon in your pockets and a pearl necklace around your neck. Sounds odd, doesn't it? But think about it. If I fell in a river, I would come up with salmon in my pockets and a pearl necklace around my neck. That doesn't make sense, and that doesn't happen to anyone. But my mother was trying to tell me something, and that is to believe that whatever happens to me, if it's bad or if it's difficult or if it's challenging, to always believe that things will turn out for my good. Now, you've heard me say it quite a few times. It says in Romans that God turns all things for the good of those that love Him. And I heard it differently from my mother, in the sense of she painted it into a picture that if I fell in a river, I would come up with salmon in my pockets and with a pearl necklace around my neck. Now, here's the unusual thing, or here's the important thing. I actually believed it when I was a child. I actually believed that if things went bad for me, somehow I would stand up, I would walk away from falling into that river, and I would have salmon in my pockets. As a child, I believed that bad things would never be the end result for me. That if bad things happened to me, that somehow it was going to turn out to actually be for my benefit. Because if I hadn't fallen into that river, then I wouldn't be able to get salmon in my pockets. Now, I know that sounds like a childish thing to just tell your child that, but I want to point this out to you, that if you have children, that you are getting to decide for them what they choose to believe, and that will affect them for the rest of their life. You know, years ago, I really started doing a lot of counseling quite seriously, and I started to notice how many problems people had because they believed the things that their parents told them. You see, I believe that your father tends to determine what you think about yourself, and your mother tends to determine what you feel about yourself in your heart. And whatever they say or do towards you tends to get stuck into you for the rest of your life. And so you now have their voice, you now have their thoughts, you now have their words in your head that are telling you what to think about yourself. And here's the thing, if your parents told you that you were stupid, if your parents told you you weren't good for anything, or maybe they just lacked giving you words, they didn't give you any good words, kids tend to either fill in the gaps or they tend to believe what their parents have told them, and then they just can't switch that tape recorder off in their head. Do you realize how much power you have to speak upon other people's lives? I think of it like a jacket. I think of it in the sense of your parents have given you a jacket when you were little, and every day you still put that jacket on. The question is, what words are you speaking to your children? What jacket are you purposely putting on them every day? Because even just not saying the words of encouragement makes them second guess themselves. I believe we actually do that with each other, even as adults. I want to encourage you today to seriously consider this. Consider the words that you're speaking to other people. What jacket are you putting on them? What thing are you entrusting to them? What thing are you commanding them to believe about themselves? Your words are more powerful than you realize. We love you guys.